Hey guys, it's Jooji here, and I'm bringing you another drawing video. So I found this post on Reddit, and I wanted to redraw all of the characters that were on it, just because they're the most voted for characters by game in the Fire Emblem Heroes poll Choose Your Legends 3. So this particular list gets updated whenever there's a new banner with new characters out. So it was updated with the Sacred Stones banner that introduced Garrick, Owain, Tethys, and Cormag, and the new duo hero that got rid of Garrick, Ross, and Cormac. I also went ahead and added the characters, the OCs that weren't in the poll. So that post has all of these characters, and there's another Reddit post that I thought about referencing, but I had already really based it off of this one. And that one divided Genealogy of the Holy War into two generations, and it also divided Fire Emblem Fates into two generations. It didn't divide Fire Emblem Awakening into two generations because I think none of the child characters left that haven't been introduced were above the top 5 characters that were already on the Fire Emblem list. And this is a list that I made in anticipation to the Far-Fetched Heroes banner that we're likely going to get very soon. And while I was making this video, I had drawn Cormac, Ross, and Garrick, and Sacred Stones was one of the last games I actually drew, but the banner dropped a few days ago, and it had Cormac as a Grand Hero battle, had Ross as an addition to the 3-star pool, and I actually got Ross's 3-star, which is really cool, and Garrick as part of the banner. And Garrick brought in the Fire Sweep Axe, which I'm so excited for because I have always wanted my Libra to have a Fire Sweep Axe. So whenever I get Garrick, I hope I get a second copy of him or something because I really want a Fire Sweep Axe. So I added the OCs from Fire Emblem Heroes that weren't already on the poll. So that's Thor, Gustav, and Henriette. I did them last because they were kind of an afterthought, but glad I did because that filled up the 5 for that because they just had Helen, Leaf, and I'm really certain that we're going to get them really soon because Book 3 just ended, and I'm certain we're going to get them before the Book 4 characters come out. So I also added some of the characters from Fire Emblem 3 Houses using the Nintendo Life poll. They had 2 different lists and with top 5s, and I didn't want to use that one list that I saw that had all of the boys ranked and all of the girls ranked because I don't remember seeing the number of the votes for that, and I wanted to be able to rank them in order of votes. So I took both of the polls and I just took the top 5 of both of them, and it actually ended up being 7 characters. So Lysithea, Bernadetta, and Sylvain were 3 characters that were on both lists, and then there was 4 characters that were on each list. Felix, Marianne, Ferdinand, and Ingrid were the characters that were on those lists. And I ended up choosing Felix and Marianne to draw. I started this off by drawing the characters in Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon, and Anna was the first character I drew. I ended up drawing 3 different incarnations of Anna, and I hope that we soon do have more than just one incarnation of Anna. I'm excited to see what weapon they would give an Anna that was from Arcanea. I feel like by the time that we get an Arcanean Anna, we probably will have Fates and Awakening Anna in the game. So we'll already have an archer and we'll already have a sword one. I think it would be interesting if they didn't make that. I think they could totally make Fates Anna not a colorless archer. And I feel like they could probably make the Arcanean Anna some type of a dagger unit. But I think it would be really cool if they made her a lance wielder. Then I drew Zane, and Zane would be a really cool unit in Fire Emblem Heroes. I think it would be really interesting to see how they would implement his chameleon or transform ability. Maybe they could make it limited to him turning into a type of unit with the same attributes in your team and then keeping his stats. And that could make him a very niche and strange and probably unused unit. But I think Nina would be also a really exciting character to get. She would probably be a tome user, but I think it would be cool since we never had Nina as a playable character in any of the games. And Alice would also be a really cool character. I'm surprised we haven't gotten her yet, but I really want them to add in Marth's sister because she's, damn it, Marth's sister. They have all of the Nor and Hoshido nobles, and they should have all of the Arcanian nobles too. And Wolf would be a cool archer. He has a nice design. He'll make it eventually. I think it'll be interesting how they choose to portray Chris. And Chris has different outfits depending on what class you make them, and obviously what gender you make them. And Aramaya would also be really cool because she's kind of like also an NPC, but she's a enemy NPC. I don't know anything about Arlen, but there he is. I'm sure that they'll make Larce absolutely broken when they add her into the game. I am really excited for Sed, and I hope that he is even better than Lewin. I hope he has special spiral too, though. I need more special spiral in my life. I also am excited for Altina. I hope we have Altina wielding the Gable on a wyvern. It would be really cool to see. I really would love to see a remake of Genealogy of the Holy War. Comment down below if you would like to see some of the characters from Genealogy of the Holy War drawn in the style of Fire Emblem Echoes. I want to do some videos where I try out to draw and imitate Hidari's style from that game. I have a feeling that Shannon could be just as broken as Iroh whenever they add Shannon into the game. I feel like I noticed Shannon more when I was first playing Genealogy because he shows up in the chapters before the time skip as a child. So I associate him more with Iroh even more than I do Larce. I would love to see Aranis in the game because we need more green-haired Pegasus Knights. Since there's so many in Genealogy of the Holy War, we need some of them interpreted in Fire Emblem Heroes. I wouldn't be surprised if Jill and Shinon are in the Far-Fetched banner, but I also wouldn't be surprised if instead of being in the Far-Fetched banner, we just have a Path of Radiance banner where we get Jill and Shinon. But we could also have a Radiant Dawn banner where we get Jill and Shinon and maybe Ashera too. Something like that. But if it would be really cool if we did get Jill, Shinon, Astrid, and Volk, maybe even Lucia. And then we can maybe get one of them as a Grand Hero battle, and then poor Shinon will have the same thing happen that Conrad and Cormag and Canis and Death Knight, and, well, I guess I'll just stop and not get any sadder. But anyways, I think that Shinon has a really cool design, and he has a really good potential of being a really good bow user. Bow users always have a lot of potential, but they don't always get executed in the best way. And while I was drawing Volk, I decided not to draw his hand because I wanted to show off his collar instead, and I thought that it would be a little tough to draw the hand at such a small size. Anyways, I drew Astrid too, and she has a really nice design. I like her hazel eyes with the black hair. I'm really excited to see if they do ever include any merchants from the Fire Emblem games that have showed up as playable characters and heroes, like Jorge. I would love for Jorge to be in this game. Jorge would be amazing. I don't even know what type of weapon they could give Jorge, but Jorge is my number one character for Fire Emblem Heroes. I like Vika. She is cute. She has a cute design. That's about it. There aren't that many. There's a bunch of Lagoos that I'm excited for them to add, but I'm surprised that they haven't added any Dragon Lagoos yet. I'm interested to see how they're going to treat the Dragon Lagoos, if they're going to treat them with more of the beast qualities that they've added, or more of the mechanics that they've given the beasts in Fire Emblem Heroes, or more of the mechanics that they've given the dragons in Fire Emblem Hero, or if they'll merge them, do something like that. I'm excited for Severa just because Selena isn't very good, and we need a good version of her already, because I feel like she was such a popular character in her game, that I'm surprised that we don't have a better version of her. I'm excited to see what they could do with Emerin. It would be really cool to see. I don't know. I think Emerin would be a nice magic user. Yeah. Hopefully they don't give her out as a free unit and then she'll be good. If they just make her pretty generic. It's not that hard to make any character generic in Fire Emblem Heroes. And if they add Anna in, I wonder if they'll make her kind of like, I've been thinking about the fact that they probably won't ever add the Levin sword in, or a sword that does resistance-based magic, because it just, if that thing was equipable or like tradable, it would be a really dangerous thing to have in the game. So I don't think that they would ever give her a Levin sword that would function the way it does. And if they did give her a Levin sword, I don't think that they would make it inheritable. I think I'm excited for Anna to be our first trickster. I also like Gangrel a lot. I hope he gets added in sometime. I really like drawing Sayri. She has really nice shading in her fur. I never really understood what that like ring around Priam and the hero's generic class was. It's just a random ring. Maybe it's to like attach a helmet onto it, but I don't know. I'm excited. I would love to see Priam in Fire Emblem Heroes. It would be really cool to see another Ragnell. I wonder if they would just give him Ragnell or if they would give him like an updated Ragnell. I like the concept of Priam as a descendant of Ike, and they just like had him here randomly when Marth is kind of, or Crom is kind of meant to be a descendant of Marth. And I also like Priam's color scheme. The red, white, and blue looks nice without looking way too in-your-face American. And Rinka's one of those characters that I feel like a lot of people are surprised that they haven't added in. There's just a few characters that I feel like people always expect to see. And those are the characters that you meet within, I think, like the first 3 chapters of the game. And Rinka, you meet her really early on in the game. So I would love to see Rinka in the game soon. I really want to see the clubs depicted as axes in this game. I would also love it if when they add Anna into the game, the Fate Anna, that they don't make her a colorless bow user. Maybe make her a colored bow user. Maybe a red bow user. That would be cool. I would also love if Lilith was a red breath user. I am excited to see what they do with Lilith. I also decided, while I was drawing Lilith, to draw the beast forms of the 2 Lagoos that I had drawn, because I was going to draw Lilith's dragon form. So I went ahead and drew Vika as a raven, and I went ahead and started drawing Volug as a wolf. And Vika looks more like a straight up raven with just blue eyes, but I can see more of Volug's attributes in his wolf design, like his collar and his necklace. So I drew him, but then I redrew him because I had drawn him too large, and he was fun. I think Lilith has a really nice color scheme, so that was nice, and I hope that we get her soon. Something that I don't like about Lilith's dragon design is that she just is wearing same head, the same head wrap, I don't know what it's called. Lilith is just wearing the same hat as Lilith's. Lilith as a dragon it shouldn't be wearing that like weird bow. The weird bonnet bow thing, looks strange on her. It was also hard to draw. Lilith has a really nice color scheme, not only as a human, but also as a dragon. Nyx is someone else who I'm really excited for because she has a really nice design. I really like the veil and she really does look like a little brat that has way too much hair, and I like her story. I think that she would look really good in one of the GBA games. I want to do pixel art of her. I loved drawing Forest. Forest was one of my favorite characters. Period.
just because he loves pretty things and pretty dresses, and so do I. And the color pink, and I think that he would love Muriel. So at this point, I wanted to redraw some of the characters that I drew first because I had drawn them too large, so I redrew Anna, Zane, Nina, Wolf, and Ellis again, just because I wasn't happy with the way that the other ones were sized. And I also ended up redrawing Jill and Lucia because I didn't realize when I was first drawing Lucia that I had drawn her with a larger brush than the brush I was using to draw everyone else. So I redrew Lucia. I didn't like the way that Jill's face was in the first drawing I did of her, so I also redrew Jill. I ended up redrawing both of the Chris's, and I just thought that the first female Chris that I drew was so much larger than I wanted her to be, so I went ahead and redrew her and the male Chris closer in dimensions to each other. And then I went into Thracia 776, and I think Thracia 776 has actually really good design, and the artwork, the concept artwork for all of the characters is really strong and beautifully illustrated in color. I'm excited for Sarah and Orson to be added. Orson's such a cutie. I want more axe users and more. I think he has really cute pants. I think he has a tuck shirt and I like guys with bandanas. That is a design that I've always liked. Maybe it's because I grew up on Naruto. And Aspel is also someone with a really nice design. I really like the color of his hair. And he's just a typical, like, magic user, like, young mage design, and it's pretty classic. He reminds me of Merrick. And Rickon. Lenoan is also someone who I really love because her hair color is really beautiful, and the color of the clothes that she wears contrasts with it in a really nice way. I love the teal with that nice peach pink color. I'm really excited for them to add Bridget and Ideen into the game before they add Evelyn. I like Bridget as an archer, and I like her with her legendary bow. But I also like Evelyn with a blade. I think that Evelyn's design is actually nicer than her as Bridget. They already added Marita in her possessed state, so I think it would be cool to add a regular Marita with Evelyn. I really want them to add Deke into the game. I love his hair color. He's one of my favorite designs in Fire Emblem of all time. I love buff boys with no shirt and a bunch of scars on their face. And I think Percival also has a nice design. I like the blonde and the purple. His design kind of reminds me of a precursor to Xander. But he also looks like he has a similar color scheme to Zephiel when he was young. Love Echidna's design too. Her hair is a really cool color, and I love the bandanas that she wears. She looks a little rough and tumble, and she reminds me of Crimson from Fire Emblem Fates, who I also hope gets added into Fire Emblem Heroes soon. Oh, Gonzalez was one of my favorite ones to draw. He ended up looking super cute, and I really hope that we get to see Gonzalez soon. I hope that Gonzalez is drawn by the same person that drew Ardan and Jagan and all of those, because I like that person's art a lot, and I think it would fit Gonzalez's personality and story really well. And I really like Milady, and I hope that she is added alongside Guinevere, and Guinevere would be a really cool character to get in this game, because she would be kind of like Nina, a princess character that doesn't really fight in the game, but would probably be a priest like Ellis, or a magic user like Ellis. I'm excited for them to add Athos. He looks so cool. I think that it would just be really cool to see a really powerful mage that has lived hundreds of years, has so much power and so much knowledge. I think it would be really cool to see if they would be done justice. I ended up making Urk, I feel like, the same size as Athos. That's funny. Lila would be another really cool character to get because she's a non-playable character. And I feel like she would probably play as a better Matthew. It would be really nice to see her be really good in the game. Selena is a character that I would have expected to see in Fire Emblem Heroes already, just because she, in Sacred Stones, if you play Erika's route, you really do meet her super early on in one of the villages, and she's how you start seeing that the enemy army isn't just ruled by a bunch of like bloodthirsty psychopaths like Walter. There's also Selena, who's like a just leader, and she like is a well fleshed out character with good intentions. She just like doesn't live in the same country you do. So I think that's why also a lot of people like Selena, because she's a really cool character. I wish they had added Garcia in with Ross, because now I feel like it's going to take forever for Garcia to get added into the game. But whatever. I'm sure a lot of people are excited for Ross. Garrick looked really good in the game, so I had a lot of fun drawing him. I am really glad that he's in here. Liked Gas Station's cosplay of him. In Gas Station, if you're ever lonely, hit me up. I'll like don't have a car, but live close enough to Canada, I guess. And I really want them to add Noel eventually on the game and give him his tome, and it's sad that they already gave it to Erika, so if they give him his tome, it's not going to be exciting. I left the OCs of Fire Emblem Heroes for last. I didn't leave them for dead last, but I left them towards the end because I felt like the designs for Leaf and Hell are so busy. They have so much going on and so many parts to them, but they actually ended up being a lot of fun to draw, and I had a really good time with Leaf, especially trying to figure out where all the lights were supposed to go with the cyan, and drawing the ribcage inside was a lot of fun. I was counting the amount of ribs that she had coming off of her sternum, and it didn't add up with the amount of ribs that she actually is supposed to have. I wanted to draw Milla as a life dragon because that's actually not something that you get to see in the game, just in concept art, so let's make use of that concept art, right? Wanted to be able to present or put all of these guys in a template that made them seem kind of like they were in Fire Emblem Heroes, so I went up and redrew the little frame that all of the characters were in for the Choose Your Legends poll, and I just tried to recreate it by drawing the shape and then adding a clipping mask and then drawing with drawing the colors on with a charcoal brush. It's interesting to see Thor kind of like supposed to be a parallel to Loki, because they don't really look that much alike. They just have tiggle bitties. I guess they kind of have similar eyes. And I mean, they're drawn by the same artist, so that also like makes them seem similar. I really do like the design for Gustav. He is probably the most attractive character in the game. Which is crazy, because I thought Alphonse were so generic looking, but I can really see how Alphonse is gonna grow up to look just like Gustav. Gustav is another character like Ashera that has feathers in their design, and I absolutely hated drawing the feathers in Ashera's design. I had to draw them like 100 different times. And one of the last things I did was to draw the variations of the characters with multiple hair colors, like Severa and Forest. So I drew Severa in all of the different colors that she could have depending on her father, and I redrew Forest in all of the hair colors that he could have depending on his mother. but I also drew Chris in both genders with all of the different hair color options that you can choose in that game. I didn't draw all of the different type of hairstyles and outfits that they can have because I actually think that I'm going to do that in a separate video, so make sure to check that out. And I added these characters with their different hair colors as a bonus at the end of the video, so enjoy that. If you made it to this part of the video, thanks so much for checking it out. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and check out my other videos. If you have any questions about how to buy any of these pieces as a poster, don't forget to check out the description down below. Thanks for watching and have a great day, guys.